Welcome back to the lesson. In this video, we're going to be learning about text formatting in HTML. So basically, HTML contains several elements for defining text with a special meaning. And text formatting elements were designed to display special types of text. So now let's go ahead and start defining some HTML text with special meaning. Let me actually come over here and define two paragraphs. Let's say paragraph 1 and say, for instance, this is a normal text, something like this. And now we're going to go ahead and define another text down below here. Let's hold down Alt Shift down arrow to copy the first paragraph, and I'm going to go ahead and change the text inside our second paragraph here and say this text is, let's actually go ahead and get rid of this text is bold, something like this. And now if I go ahead and save our files, as you can see, this is a normal text and this text is bold. So as you can see, obviously this text is not bold. So we can basically use one of the text formatting elements in HTML to make this our second paragraph bold, which is the B tag right here. Let me actually go ahead and create it. B like so. So this is B for bold. So basically the HTML B element over here defines bold text without any extra importance. So let's go ahead and now apply it to our second paragraph. Let's actually go ahead and cut this, the opening B tag, and paste it right here. Alright. And we're going to go ahead and cut this, the closing B tag, and paste it after our bold right here. Paste like so. Now if I go ahead and save our file, as you can see, our second paragraph is indeed bold. Alright, so friends, as you can see, just by adding the B tag over here, our text is now bolded. Alright, as you can see, this text is bold. So now we're going to go ahead and move to the second text formatting element in HTML, which is the strong tag. So basically, the HTML strong element defines text with strong importance. The content inside is typically displayed in bold. So let's go ahead and exemplify that as well. Now let's come over here. Remember our shortcut, hold down Alt, Shift, and the down arrow to copy the last paragraph. Let me actually give space right here. Remember, our browsers automatically ignores any white space and line breaks, so it doesn't mean, it's just for readability purpose. I'm providing the space. Same thing right here. Alright, so instead of using the bold, now we're going to use the strong. And this time around, we're writing the tag name in full, strong. And the same thing here. Let's actually go ahead and copy this. Paste this right here. And now we're going to go ahead and change the text. This text is important. Because as we define the strong element, we said it defines text with strong importance. So the content inside will be this text is important, and we said that the content inside our strong element is typically displayed in bold. So now let's go ahead and see for ourselves. Now if we go ahead and save our file, as you can see, we have our important text right here. Alright, so now let's move to the third text formatting element in HTML, which is the italic element. The HTML italic element defines a part of text in an alternate voice or mood. The content inside is typically displayed in italic. Alright, so let's go ahead and exemplify that as well. So let's come over here and say Alt Shift down arrow to copy the last paragraph. And this time around, we're going to go ahead and change the tag right here, the text formatting tag, to I, which stands for italic. The same thing for the closing tag I. And the content is going to be this text is italic. Italic, something like this. And now if I should go ahead and save our file, save, as you can see, we have an italic text over here. This text is italic. Alright, so that's all about the italic. Now we're going to go ahead and move to the next one, which is the emphasized text. The emphasized element defines emphasized text. The content inside is typically displayed in italic. And a screen reader will pronounce the word in an emphasized text HTML element with an emphasis using verbal stress. So let's go ahead and exemplify that as well. Now we're going to go ahead and use our normal shortcut, Alt Shift the down arrow to copy the last paragraph. And instead of using the italic right here, we're going to be using the emphasized text, which is EM. That's the tag name, EM for emphasis or emphasized, EM for the closing tag as well. And right here, we're going to change the content to this text is emphasized. Emphasized. So let's go ahead and now save our file, save. As you can see, there's not any visual difference between the italic and the emphasized text, and also the strong or the important text and the bold text right here. So as I've mentioned earlier, for the bold is just to make our text bolder, and for the strong tag right here, it basically defines text with strong importance. While for the italic right here is just a text formatting that display the text in italic format. And for the emphasize right here, the difference between the emphasize and the italic is that, for instance, people with disability, people who are visually impaired, uses screen readers to read the content of your website. So when it comes to screen readers, any text specified inside the EM tag or the emphasized text tags will be pronounced with emphasis using vowel stressed. So that's basically the difference between the normal italic and the emphasized text or the EM text. And now we're going to move to the next text formatting element in HTML, which is the small element. So basically the HTML small element defines very smaller and tiny text. So let's go ahead and see for ourselves. Now let's come over here and Alt Shift the down arrow to copy the last paragraph, and right here instead of the EM we're going to say small. And for the closing tag, let's go ahead and copy this, paste this right here, small, and here the content should say this text is small. Or let's actually go ahead and change it and say this is a smaller text, something like this. Alright, now let's go ahead and save our file, save. As you can see, we have this is a small text, and indeed the text is very small compared to our main text above here. So this is a smaller text. So the small element defines smaller text or tiny text in HTML. Alright, so let's go ahead and move to the next text formatting element in HTML, which is the mark element. So the HTML mark element defines text that should be marked or highlighted. So let's go ahead and see that in practice as well. Now we're going to go ahead and copy the last paragraph, and we're going to go ahead and change the content. Let's actually come over here and say the content should be my name is Mustafa, and I want my name here to be marked. So let me go ahead and wrap our name within the mark tag or element. So we're going to say mark, something like this. As you can see, it autocomplete our opening and closing tag of our mark element. So we're going to go ahead and cut the closing tag and paste it right after our name right here. Okay, so now this our name will be highlighted in this text. So now let's go ahead and save our file. As you can see, my name is Mustafa, and by simply wrapping our name in between our mark element right here, our name is highlighted. So that's basically about the mark text formatting element in HTML. Now we're going to go ahead and move to the next one, which is the del or the deleted text. The HTML deleted text element defines text that has been deleted from a document, and browsers will usually strike a line through a deleted text. So let's go ahead and see that in practice. Now we're going to go ahead and copy this our last paragraph, and we're going to go ahead and change the content. Let's go ahead and say my last name is, let's say, Jibril, something like this. And instead of using the mark, we're going to go ahead and use the DLE tag, the deleted text tag. So let's come over here and say DLE. We're going to go ahead and copy this, change our closing tag right here. So right now we have deleted the last name, which is Jibril right here. So our browser should basically strike a line through our last name here, which is Jibril. So now let's go ahead and save our file to see for ourselves. Yes, as you can see, my last name is Jabril, and Jabril is cancelled right here because it's deleted using the deleted text element. Alright, so friend, that's all about the deleted text element in HTML. Now we're going to go ahead and move to the next formatting text element, which is the insert element or the inserted text element. So the HTML insert element defines a text that has been inserted into a document. Browser will usually underline inserted text. So let's go ahead and see that for ourselves. Now let's go ahead and copy our last paragraph because we're going to use almost exact same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say my last name is Jabril, which is deleted. Alright, so let's come over here and use the inserted text element, insert, something like this. Alright, as you can see, the tag name is INS for insert or inserted text. So now in between our inserted text, we're going to go ahead and add, say, Muhammad. Now we're going to go ahead and save our file. Alright, as you can see, now my last name is Jabril, which is strike true, meaning it's deleted, and we've inserted Muhammad. So that's basically about the inserted element in HTML. As I've mentioned, it defines a text that has been inserted into a document, and browser usually underlines inserted text, which is, you can see, Muhammad is of course underlined. Alright, so that's great. Now we're going to move to the second to the last of our text formatting element in HTML, which is the sub element or subscript text. So basically the HTML sub element defines subscript text. Subscript text appears half a character below the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font. Subscript text can be used for chemical formulas like H2O. So let's go ahead and exemplify our sub element in HTML. So let's come over here. Let's actually expand this a bit. Okay, and let's go ahead and say view word wrap to get rid of the overflow there. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and copy the last paragraph. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and remove the content entirely. Okay, and let's go ahead and say this is a subscripted text. So now let's go ahead and save our file. As you can see, we have a normal paragraph. This is a subscripted text. Now we're going to go ahead and use the sub element to make our subscripted text a subscript indeed. So we're going to come over here. We want to make this a subscript. So let's come over here and we're going to define the sub tag sub like so. As you can see, it autocomplete the closing tag. This is one of the beauty of using text editor like Visual Studio Code. So we're going to go ahead and cut this and put it right after our word right here, subscript. Now we're going to go ahead and save our file to see for ourselves. As you can see, this is a subscripted text. So indeed, this is now a subscripted text. As you can see, now our word subscripted is now subscripted within our paragraph. Alright, so that's all about the subscripted text in HTML. Now we're going to move to the last but not least, which is the superscripted text. So the HTML sub element defines superscript text. Superscript text appears half a character above the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font, just like our previous subscripted text. So let's go ahead and see that for ourselves. Now we're going to go ahead and copy the last paragraph right here by holding down Alt Shift the down arrow, and instead of saying sub tag, we're going to use super tag, which is sub, not sub. So we're going to go ahead and change this as well to P sub. Alright, and the text right here, this is a superscripted text. Alright, so now let's go ahead and save our file. As you can see, now we have a superscripted text. So friend, that's all about our text formatting element in HTML. So I hope everything is clear to you in this video and that you enjoyed the lessons, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.